welcome back to the PodKore review of Daredevil Season 2. This is Part 3. Last episodes we went through, what was it, 4 through 6?
Yes, now we're doing 7, 8, 9.
Alright, let's go around. Of course, welcome, Ginger. I see you bought a new face with you here.
Yeah, I got Kenneth over here, and I got my other friend Kane. One is a veteran of comic books, and one is a new fan. So it's going to be interesting to hear like a perspective from both sides.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just an asshole.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that. But yeah. So I guess let's just kick right off to it. If I can pull up my notes. Everybody's got their notes and stuff, right? Pretty much.
We're going to Den of the Geek. Episode 7, guys.
Alright, episode...
More into the Punisher story of him in the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going into more of his court case, which you could pretty much see repeatedly happen in the comic books. Punisher's probably been in prison, I don't know how many times by now, and he keeps getting back out. Kind of ironic considering his MO is like, I kill people so they don't come back out.
Pretty much, yeah. He did kind of go off on a bit of a spout, talking about you put them down. It's like you put them away, they still come back out. I take them out and they go down or whatever. Yeah. That line was. So yeah, episode 7 is basically the court. We could see them go through a trial for this, for the Punisher. It's really mostly Foggy and Karen, because Matt is kind of just off doing his own thing.
Yeah.
I actually love how this episode starts out with the jury selection. Like, they really set the tone with the, is he a good guy, is he a bad guy? What does it mean? Like, if somebody's doing bad things to bad people, is it two wrongs make a right or not? And I love how they started that out with the different jurors saying, he's a hero, he should definitely be, and then it cuts to the next one, thrown in jail forever. Like, I love that method of opening the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, before I even started Daredevil season 2, I was like a very anti-Punisher person because I always thought he was like a jerk. But so far, from episode 1 through 6, even now to 7, we were really seeing Punisher being human.
Yeah.
It's I always got the impression as Punisher, it's what does he do? Oh, he just bang, 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 kills all these. He's got all these guns and I'm like, okay, cool. So what else? Why does he do this? Kill his family, whatever. And then they kind of overlook that part, Yeah,
I actually, I have a friend of mine who keeps telling me I need to read Punisher Max, and I'd been holding off for the longest time, the series that started 10 years ago or so. I've been holding off, and I think now I'm definitely going to, after watching this, I'm definitely going to pick that up because hopefully they do as good of a job in that comic as they do in the show. They really do an amazing job of humanizing him without toning him down. At no point in time does it come off like, oh, he's not really that bad. It's no, he never stops being bad and just kicking in doors, and yet they still show that you can be a human at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What they do with this episode is, besides seeing them... Oh, sorry, I'm getting distracted by my own voice there.
You're in the on zone.
Yeah. Headphones, people, if you got them. Just let you know.
No.
But with this one, it's basically a trial of Frank Castle. It reminded me of when that first part you were mentioning with the people talking about whether he's guilty or not guilty.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that little last bit of scene at the end of the Avengers where they have that little newsreel going on. where it's just like, are the Avengers responsible for this and blah blah blah, or it's like, are they good guys, are they heroes, or blah blah, and all that stuff. It kind of this kind of reminds me of that, but it was a darker version of that, where you get to see kind of what people really think, and it's kind of to the extent of what most people actually talk about on like Facebook or Twitter when it comes to like debates, basically.
Yeah. Like a more social network perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys actually talked about this in one of the last episodes. That whole feeling that you're getting on, and they're going to obviously do it in Civil War. There's possibly you could have people that are having opposing viewpoints, and neither of them is necessarily wrong or bad.
Yeah, which is good. But can we like mention how awesome that prison fight scene was?
I mean, we'll get to it, but yeah, it was pretty awesome. Especially because we're not exactly there at that point, but let's just say that there is somebody from season 1 that does come back, leading up to that prison fight scene itself.
Well, that one's in the fight scene. The prison fight is in 8, right?
Yeah, it's in 8.
It's in 9, actually, I think.
Or is it 9? Yeah, it's 9.
Yeah, it's 9.
Yeah.
But it's in our blocker review.
Yeah,
that thing is brutal.
I usually rewatch so I know where to cut off on my talking points. So I'm just like, okay, that's it. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. But meanwhile, while the trial's going on and Matt and Foggy are trying to get their defense together, of course Matt is dealing with Elektra, who had just came into his life, back into his life. They went to, I guess, to someone to encrypt some kind of writing that they got at some point.
Oh yeah, that scene was amazing where that dude was being a bit racist to the prostitutes, and then Elektra just coming in to kick him in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I was like, that's good.
That's where you
I also like the fact that it was also the first mention of Elektra's father. Like really going to her dad. Like going into the backstory of that, and then we also get to see where the three sides of Matt Murdock comes together.
Yeah.
And this is the episode we're really seeing it all come to a head. You know, him on his lawyer side, him as a relationship side, and then like also him as Daredevil.
It's basically him trying to balance everything out in his life that he feels like is perfect.
Yeah, his moral compass. So we got into that. But I don't know. Anything else about 7 you guys want to like mention, or?
You can
go.
Talk about a New York Easter egg.
One of the craziest things that happens here, as far as him balancing everything, is when he starts getting in that little bit of a, I don't want to say a fight, but the kind of disagreement with Karen about the vigilantes, and she kind of starts taking the Punisher side, and it's yet another time where he's confronted with that whole, is what I'm doing actually working? You know, do I need to take it another step further? You know, because she's saying, well, yeah, he's doing bad stuff, but it works, right? Yeah. And at that point, he just bails on the night, and he's like, all right, well, you know.
Because she herself is kind of going through her own thing where she's trying to validate her own thing about killing the guy in season 1.
Yeah.
So she's like, it's okay, right? I did something good, I think. You know, maybe not. Maybe I'm a piece of shit. Because like in like within like the first like 3 episodes, she kind of said like maybe he's gonna come after me. You know.
Right.
There's that little foreshadowing. You could see where she felt the guilt about that. Now she's kind of like going on that side where she's like, maybe it's right.
But I think that they're pointing out, I think there's more to her story, because there's several points where it's almost something clearly happened when she was younger as well.
Yeah, we can see on the later episodes for sure.
Yeah.
So it's almost like there's a little bit of that too, where maybe there's some past guilt that keeps showing itself throughout the season, where she's talking about different things.
That was really
One thing they find out about this episode, especially during the case, the trial, there's a doctor who confesses to alter autopsy reports for the DA Reyes. Is that her last name, right?
Well, no, he doesn't. He's not falsifying it for her.
Or
he doesn't actually know who he's falsifying it for. But at the end, they even get that little arc.
That's right. That's right.
case.
But yeah,
like he tampered.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting because at some point the dude just freaks out on the stand, and that's when you kind of start seeing Matt. That's when I feel like you see Matt in that trying to, do his thing a little bit, because I feel like that's the first time you really saw him in the courtroom trying to interact with like the whole case itself.
And it fucks up.
Yeah.
And it has to do with him.
Yeah, well, it has to do with Elektra.
Yeah.
When the realization that the person who came to the medical examiner the night before was Elektra.
Yeah.
Like that whole situation, just like, wow.
It's like, oh, awkward ex-girlfriend moment.
Yeah. Thanks. I mean, we all have awkward ex-girlfriend moments, right?
Not everybody. Not everybody. So I thought it was a really good title for the show, Semper Fidelis.
Mm-hmm.
Way to test the faith of everyone, the moral faith.
And also a tie-in to the Marine Corps.
Yeah, which is all about Punisher. So that was a clever name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to episode 8. Unless anybody's got something else to say about 7.
Guilty as sin.
And this leads perfectly into 8. The last scene where they're looking down the hole, and she says, "Did it hit bottom?" And they end the episode before the flashlight hits the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. She's like, "Well, tell me when it does."
Yeah.
And also, well, in this one, like you said, guilty as sin. Frank Castle. Not only, the somebody from season 1 return. What's his name? Stick comes back. When we find
saves the day.
And we find out that he taught Elektra too.
That was the reveal.
Yeah, but also Frank Castle takes a stand finally in his own trial.
That worked out really well.
And loses his damn mind.
He loses it completely.
But he doesn't lose it.
He's pressured. It seemed. It seemed like he's getting threatened.
Right. He's not really losing it. He's acting it up. He's playing it up so that it moves forward.
Something doesn't happen.
Yeah.
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 And you kind of see that the guard comes up to him and is like, "Hey, just remember think about what you want."
Yeah.
And
it's interesting also, even even as he was walking down the prison scene with the jail bars going down the row with his white suit, it was actually a lot like apparently Circle of Blood on the Punisher comics. So if anybody wants to look up that image reference.
That's a deep pull right there. He's looking it up now.
Yeah. I'm challenging Kenneth to out-nerd me right now.
I was going to see if I can find a picture of it. Oh, yeah, here we go. Hold on. And I think I can share this.
Yeah, you should be able to.
He's more savvy than I am with that.
Don't give me too much credit yet.
While you're looking for that, meanwhile, basically during this, Matt is gone. Is kind of. I feel. Is this the episode where Matt and Foggy had all right, here we go. They had an argument? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So there's him going down.
Oh, also, apparently Clancy Brown is here as Colonel. What was the colonel's name? Schooner?
It is Colonel Ray Schoonover.
Schoonover.
No.
That's how you say it. I'm like, how do you fucking say that name?
I say that's how you say it. It could be Schoonover. I'm not sure.
Also,
Yes.
another comic book read reference for anybody watching this, Punisher War Journal, if you want to look at the appearance of that colonel. So,
It's funny. It's funny seeing Clancy Brown do that because he's also in The Flash as a villain too, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is just like, this guy's all over comic books right now.
He's a military bad guy. He's the military bad guy.
He's done a ton of voice work for Marvel Comics too.
Really?
My pleasure show is Sleepy Hollow. And he was in Sleepy Hollow, just say.
Yeah, he's he was Taskmaster, he was Red Hulk, and Ultimate Spider-Man, Black Bolt, Kree Intelligence, like he was all sorts of different roles in different Marvel things.
It's funny, like
circuit.
Yeah, him and Michael Ironside seem to do like a lot of those colonel roles and like general roles for like the army. It seems like Michael Ironside was General Lane in Smallville, and well, maybe not in he's also in Legends of Tomorrow, and he was in The Flash, but he wasn't really a general. He was like a thief or something.
Yeah. And also, I like how, what is it? Isn't it like, isn't this the episode that wraps up with Kingpin as an intro?
No, this is... Yes,
the very end of the episode.
Yeah, the very end of the episode is when Kingpin comes in on episode 8.
Yeah, he's sitting there struggling to lift some weights, where it's just
Kingpin don't need a struggle.
Those were huge weights.
Those were huge weights.
He had lots of plates.
He's also like well known in the comic book to be really like masterful as a combat fighter. Like he's like you don't want to be close range Kingpin at all. He's gonna just destroy you.
Yeah,
he
just likes his frat foods.
Daredevil so many times, and then we also see in like episode 9 where he destroyed Punisher in a combat fight.
Yeah. Like just totally knocked him down and sunned him.
Yeah, that's just Kingpin style. He's slow, but he's gonna knock you the fuck down when he gets to you.
Yep.
That's one character I would like to see in the Marvel movie universe. Just like since they have the Spider-Man, they have Spider-Man now there. So I would kind of like to see him go up against Spider-Man, just like
that's no contest. Spider-Man's just gonna wrap him up, man.
I know that, but it should be kind of cool to see,
My classic joke on Spider-Man has always been that he's one of the like low-key most badass superheroes because he will just whip your ass, make jokes about you the entire time, and then take pictures of it and send it to the front page of the local newspaper. I mean, come on. Ultimate troll.
Nowadays, he just Snapchat it or put it on Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like if Deadpool was nice and not offensive.
That'll never happen.
That's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Nice guy. I'm just going to make one-liners my own kind of corny way.
Yeah. This episode, a lot of the relationships between Foggy and Matt and Karen Matt's relationships kind of start falling apart a little bit. Because this is where Karen walks into the apartment and sees Elektra laying in the bed. After she got like a gash, like a ninja wound or something into her stomach.
Although it's a little weird that she comes in and come on, what could really be going, like the old man is there. She doesn't even think about the old man. It's like, okay, that should also, like if you're thinking something weird is going on, that should also be a little weird to you too. It's like, who's this random old dude?
Yeah, why is it? Think about the old guy with the woman in the bed thing.
I really wasn't sure. Like, she just kind of skips completely over that, and it's like, you should really ask questions about the old blind dude that's answering the door.
Yeah,
that's a little odd.
Like, she kind of just jumps to conclusions a little bit there. It doesn't even let Matt explain. She's kind of
caught up in her own little. Everybody's kind of caught up in their own little world.
Well, everybody is also lying to her on a nonstop basis, so.
Yeah.
Like
She's
clearly,
lying herself.
yeah.
She's
Like
lying
it's,
to herself.
Lying to each other. No one gives a shit. It's all about me, me, me as my character development right now in this mid-season chunk.
Now let
yeah.
me ask you this: is this just like what people are in actual New York, or is this just Marvel New York where they're?
No, this is all definitely actual New York scenes for sure, which I totally love that. I know you're trolling me. Fuck you. But like for example, I think like in episode 7, you know, there was a scene in the backdrop where there was like the Empire State Building, and
Mhm.
it was like orange and blue, which is supposed to represent the Mets colors because they was in season when they were filming that. So that was like a
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Another little cool New York thing, how they tied the Marvel universe into New York, was the fact that like they mentioned Summer of Sam.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah. That was in
7. Yeah,
was that
so
in
they
7?
do a lot of solid New York shout outs in there. And then like some of the restaurant scenes that they go to, I'm like, I actually know that place. I've ate there. This is great.
In this and towards the end of this episode, of course, like we mentioned, Frank Castle has a a meltdown, not a real one, but you kind of see like Frank Castle's on his own little thing. Like if they decided to go back and just shoot other scenes around Frank Castle and becoming the Punisher and not have like Matt Murdock in there, it'd be a pretty good like Punisher TV show run. But I doubt they're gonna do that.
They're
Well,
actually
this
going to do Punisher solo run on Netflix.
No, they are, but they're not gonna like film around.
Oh,
They're not gonna film around like the whole story. Like, oh, this is what the Punisher was doing now.
well, I think they actually I felt like they did a good job with the Punisher in this. Like I really thought that the Punisher was going to end up being some sort of silly little
too.
you know he's
Like
going
what
to
I
be
thought of him as a comic book character.
yeah, he was going to be in like 2 episodes. He was going to show up and do Punisher stuff and then go away. I didn't realize it was going to go so in depth. I really think they went really in depth with Punisher in this. Like it was kind of impressive.
Yeah, the human stuff.
Yeah, and it was just so much. Like there's a ton of Punisher in this season.
Yeah, there
So,
is.
like for me to get misty-eyed about Punisher storyline is impressive.
Oh, I love that they gave them. Obviously, this isn't about these episodes, but early in the season, they gave him that long um, solo part where he was able to just act out the scene about talking about his family and everything in the graveyard.
Yeah, that was the like the last 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah, like that was intense, and it was like I want to say it was like a solid 6 to 8 minutes straight of just him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can kind of tell when when Matt Murdock is standing up talking to Frank on his stand. Matt can kind of sense something is up. Like he already sensed it when Frank came into the courtroom. He sensed it from the officer.
Yeah.
And you can tell like the Punisher is just going with it. Like he's willing to see how far the hole is basically with this.
Yeah.
And then of course we find out that Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin, is behind whatever, has a scheme or whatever, which leads into basically number 9.
Yep.
Where we actually get to see what happens, and this is something I don't think most TV shows, I don't ever see most TV shows do. We get to see what happens to the bad guy from season 1, like how he went through his transition and what he was trying to do, basically. And of course, Kingpin is trying to become Kingpin in jail.
Yeah, that was, and I love that they kind of put in the little reference to it where Dutton, or not Dutton, what's the guy's name who is maybe it is Dutton, where he actually says there can only be one Kingpin
in the hospital.
Yeah, like well, no, right at the beginning when he comes in, it's Dutton, Dutton comes up to him like right out of the gate. He's like, "Look, dude, I know how you roll. I know that you want to be the big shot here, but that's not how it works. There can only be one Kingpin here." And it was like instantly I knew. I was like, "Oh, well, I know how this is gonna go." Yeah, there can only be one Kingpin, and it's not you. I've seen the comic books.
But Totally was.
The
But
name of
that's
this
why we got to
episode.
see his fighting style more too with the Kingpin. Like, we
Yeah.
got to other than like breaking that dude's face with a car door in season 1.
Oh God, that was just beating.
That was so
just
brutal.
taking a beating. The name of this episode is Seven
Like,
Minutes in Heaven.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I also
7
like the
minutes.
fact that they showed Benjamin Donovan in it for the Kingpin's lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he's actually what is it? He's in the pages of Luke Cage, if I'm not mistaken, also.
So you think he's gonna be in the Luke Cage series?
I wonder if he's going to make an appearance somewhere. Because Kingpin's got to get out sometime.
Yeah. I feel like Kingpin would be out by season 3. I feel like they're gonna probably bring Kingpin back in season 3 for more of a revenge kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to show him get out eventually.
He's a
Yeah.
lawyer that busts faces himself. He's supposed to be really big in the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. No. Sorry.
I'm going to be
I'm just-
wildly curious about what they're going to do with Luke Cage, though.
I can't wait.
Because I
love that little trailer at the very end.
I'm
For
tired.
anyone watching this who has not made it all the way through the season, or maybe who has, but then for whatever reason didn't catch it, like right after the last episode, there is a 30-second or so little teaser for the Luke Cage series.
Yeah.
God, that's it?
30 seconds.
Come on.
Of
You
course.
guys got more than that.
I mean, they definitely got more than that. They just want to tease you a little. They
You can't give me 45?
don't want
just-
to put the whole thing in. They just want to tease you a little bit.
They're just trying to get you to start drooling now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
Marvel, you got me hooked.
Yeah.
Again. And this, this happened when, I gave up on collecting comic books for a while because I got really sick of the way certain things were being written. I was just like, I'm just fucking done, man. I just can't.
I'm exactly the same way for Marvel Comics. I started going almost completely Image Comics and Dark Horse Comics because I felt like with Marvel and even DC, the creators don't get enough chance to create. They're so restricted by the past, the history, and then when they want to get rid of the history, their best idea is, oh, well, let's make it 3 different universes that smash together and see what happens. And I understand that it's difficult, but at the same time, I got kind of tired of reading it, and so it's interesting that the cinematic universe now, the MCU, is kind of starting over, but it's starting over in a way that doesn't seem to bother me, even though the constant reboots of the comics bothered me.
Yeah, I think it's because we're finally seeing more of the creative control happening without it being run by box Sony money. Because they just love to fuck everything up. Everything up.
That's true.
Although,
I have no faith in
Deadpool-
Batman versus Superman. The only redemption film that they had was one of their lowest budget ones, and that was Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was only because they couldn't ignore that everyone nonstop was saying, do this
You have to
movie
watch
correctly.
Yeah. Make this a movie.
Yeah,
Saw the leak. Come on.
Yeah, as you guys brought up, friggin'
because how do you fuck
couldn't
up
see-
Deadpool? It's not like he has to be well written,
Oh, if you want to see how to do it, you just go watch Wolverine, and you can see exactly how bad Deadpool
Deadpool
can be screwed.
mentioned how to fuck it up.
Yeah, they could
But
definitely
at least
screw
it
it up.
could have been survived by a bunch of one-liners,
Hey, Van Wilder. They just needed a little bit of that Van Wilder in there.
Yeah,
Hugh Jackman
that saved
can
it.
carry that.
Van Wilder meets Deadpool meets let's see, who else has Ryan Reynolds played? Oh, and Deadpool meets and Van Wilder versus
2 guys in a pizza place.
Deadpool versus Deadpool from X-Men Origins and Green Lantern. Let's see that movie right there. 4 Ryan Reynolds movies smashed into one. Okay, no, we're getting off track, guys, though, completely. Completely
anyway,
off track.
Back to episode 9. So it's official. It's been said. Nelson Murdoch is being split up.
Yeah. This
Yep.
one's a heartbreaking episode, of course. This is where the shit hits the fan completely. Mostly because Matt is kind of still distracted by Elektra and what's going on between. We find out the organization that is, I guess, going after her, or basically it's called the Hand.
Yeah.
And
Got to see
Yeah.
those little creepy things going on. Yeah.
yeah,
Stick kind of
Even
even
in New
talks
York-
about. Stick even kind of talks about in the last one. He kind of gives the background of the Hand, and even uses it as a good point to make a joke when he's talking about that they found that secret to living forever, to immortality, and Matt Murdock's like, what? Come on.
Kagiri?
Do what?
Does this make Nobu a Kagiri? Since he has immortality, I wonder if they're going to open that up at all.
I think they definitely played him up as he's more than meets the eye. Like throughout so far throughout the 2 seasons, and obviously some stuff happens past where we're talking about today, but I definitely think they're building him up to be a particularly bad dude.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in side story 53, of course, Wilson Fisk kind of hires Frank Castle to take out, what was his name? Not Dutton, right?
Dutton,
yeah.
This is the epic prison fight scene, yeah.
Yeah, and this is where he just kind of goes up. He kills one dude, and then he kind of he's trying to find out information about his family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, basically, it's like, who killed him, or whatever. It's like, did you kill them, or blah, blah, blah. And I think, does he end up, like, slitting his throat or something? Pretty much?
He slits the first guy's throat.
No, he shanked him in the ribs.
Yeah. Dutton, he shanked in the ribs.
Yeah, because we're going back to that ending scene of episode 9 where Wilson Fisk is sitting over his hospital bed.
Yeah. And so when that happens, of course, Frank Castle thinks he's just going to walk out of there. Of course, he's betrayed by the Kingpin, and who, like, standing up, looking down between bars, looking at him like a supervillain completely. Like,
yeah, very supervillain moment.
Yeah. He's like, well, looks like you're stuck in this jam. I'm going to go off now. Or whatever.
I'm going to turn my back and not see what happens next.
Yeah, and they lock him in there, and it's kind of, and that one scene kind of reminds me, like, there's a couple scenes in this show that remind me of the movie Old Boy a little bit.
Yeah.
Fucking Old Boy, I swear to God.
There's definitely a lot of Old Boy in that prison fight.
I hate you.
Yeah.
Have you seen Old Boy?
Yeah.
Okay.
The original Old Boy, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new one. I didn't bother.
Korean film. Of course I would have seen it.
Yeah.
That.
I don't know that. You can't watch every Korean film. I mean, come on.
I'm very self-racist, and admittedly so. We have a lot of nationality pride. We're like, oh, it's from Korea? It's the best.
Yeah, no, this is something. This is one of those scenes that kind of reminds me of it, especially where Frank Castle's just grabbing somebody and just stabbing them over and over and over again until they're like in a literal pool of blood. Like, it looks like that he's making, like, Jell-O for some reason in their stomach.
I like to call that a Mexican sewing needle.
Really? I didn't know that.
Never heard that one before.
No, not I. Just like, where's the string at?
The moment, when you're, fighting somebody, that adrenaline rush, so you just gotta go hard. It's just like, you can't. You gotta make sure they're fucking dead.
Come on, Corey. Don't you know that moment where you're fighting somebody and you just stab the hell out of them? Come on.
You don't want them to, like, come back up from one stabbing, because obviously Dutton got back up from one stabbing,
Well, I'm gonna let you know, all the people that I've stabbed in my life.
Yeah, tell us how that went.
Let's just say that some of them are missing in action right now. That's all I can say.
That's because you used the Mexican sewing needle.
But yeah, that's basically.
Yeah, this episode, though, I love that they in this episode he kind of loses everybody
Yeah.
because this is the one where obviously you have Nelson and Murdoch breaking up. Karen's done with them, and even Elektra, he like realizes this isn't going to work. Like the way that you operate and the way I operate aren't
So everybody's just going
compatible.
solo.
Yeah, so like he's kind of putting himself out there just by himself, so he completely isolates himself in this episode, which is kind of how the season, he can't.
A man
he
is an
can't,
island type of theme going on.
Yeah, you can't balance like you can't be superstar lawyer and superstar superhero at the same time, and so yeah, he's facing that back and forth, and it's finally getting to the point where it's like, no, I'm gonna have to give this one part of my life up so that I can devote everything to figuring out what's happening with the hand. And he even I actually hate that the episode just before Electric, puts Stick aside and says it's just going to be me and you, and then like literally one episode later he's like, yeah, we're done. Like, dude, she just gave everything up for you, and you're like, yeah, I'm out of here.
I gotta do this thing with the thing. Fuck off.
Yeah. And you kind of
fuck off. I had enough of your shit. That's pretty much what I think. Because, like, Foggy feels like he had enough of his shit.
Yep.
Matt, like, he had enough of Foggy's shit. Because Foggy keeps attacking him for saving the world. It's like, heaven forbid I apologize for saving the world.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't grow a pair to do this case by yourself. It's like, come on.
I think that's just him missing his buddy.
Yeah,
he doesn't want him dead.
But I mean, I don't think it helps Matt with his stress dealing with his ex-girlfriend.
No, definitely not.
Fighting the Yakuza and then having your best friend attacking you like, hey man, you're kind of fucking up at work. It's like, thanks for adding to my list, jackass.
Yeah.
Hey bro, I hate how you showed up late. Stop showing up so late, bro. I know you're out saving New York City, but
Yeah, I'm out saving New York City.
Yeah.
Be my friend.
Let's go back to the bar.
Foggy's just lonely. All right. So of course after that, Frank's is kind of he's thrown in a containment hole. Like the cops come in with shield and everything, going like with the sticks and whatnot. But Fist basically has him put into like containment or whatever, and that's where you see like Frank and Kingpin kind of go at it, like fisticuffs, basically.
Yeah, that's where you see how Kingpin will hand your ass to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we also see it. Maybe I'm doing it way too early. Did we already see Matt and Kingpin?
No, that's too early. Too early.
Yeah, too early.
Okay, I'm not gonna go into that. But anyways, Kingpin totally handed Punisher's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, knocked him down on his back.
Yeah. And I like the end of it was like, I'm counting on it.
Yeah.
Which is why I think next season they're gonna release, Kingpin.
Release the
pack. I really am curious about Kingpin's lawyer being in Luke Cage, though.
You're really obsessed with that lawyer.
Because Marvel always.
He's got a whole background. That character has a huge background.
Over what the next episode's gonna be like. They're just like, oh, this one's gonna be a little bit about this, because. Jessica Jones, they kind of mentioned a bit about Daredevil, so I'm sure they're gonna like tie that somehow with like Luke Cage with Daredevil and Jessica Jones, because obviously Luke Cage was banging Jessica Jones, so that's gonna be obvious.
I didn't notice that at all in Jessica Jones. This is brand new to me.
Yeah. It's like, so there's got to be like some sort of like run-in about how they're gonna tie season 2 Daredevil with Luke Cage for the next one.
Well, and it makes perfect sense too, because that's and apparently this Ben Donovan has been around since 1973, where he first appeared he first appeared in a Luke Cage comic. So it's I think you're right. I definitely think he's going to show back up, and maybe
run bets, guys. Runs bets.
But also, basically the episode kind of
this episode, we find out Dutton was working with or for, depending on how you look at it, the blacksmith. The mysterious blacksmith.
That's true. That's true. They talk a lot about the blacksmith in this.
Yeah, that's before he gets stabbed. Dutton says, "Yeah, there was this other dude. He didn't show up. We don't know who he is or what he looks like or anything like that. He was spooked, and his name is the blacksmith."
Yeah. And I'm sure Kingpin's probably kind of intimidated by him on some level. This unknown person. Because that's the same like mystique that Kingpin had, because like in season 1, we looked at that no one would even utter his real name.
Right.
No.
That was like a big deal. No one would say Wilson Fisk, or you die if you say those words. You know, so blacksmith is probably that level of like darkness that we're looking at.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kingpin probably wants that guy out of his way.
Yeah, Kingpin just wants to take control of basically everything. He's
a little bit of a control freak.
A little?
When you name yourself the Kingpin.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to name myself Queen, and I'm going to be the most submissive person in the world.
Oh my god.
No, that's not how it works.
No.
I gotta do a hipster twist on it and make it ironic.
Oh Lord.
You gotta get your glasses in.
This episode, though, we could see Frank Castle released from prison and go on his little adventure, and that's kind of where him trying to kind of decide who he is a little bit starts coming in towards the end of that.
Everybody needs to figure out what their shit is.
So it's basically like being in your 20s, but you know, it lasts a little bit shorter than.
I'm in my 30s and I still feel like that.
Like I said, it lasts a little bit shorter.
I'm just like, I don't think I still have my shit together. It's okay.
Does anybody truly have their shit together? Even the people who say they have their shit together don't have their shit together.
No, they don't even have their shit together. People in their 50s don't have their shit together.
No.
I think it's a lifetime thing of just not having your shit together.
Yeah.
And then eventually we get to a point where we're like little kids again, because we're like, you know, that was the best moment of our lives, and we just didn't give a shit that we didn't have our shit together. I'll shit my pants right now.
Fuck you.
Clean it up. Your whole life going, man, I wish we could go back 10 years ago.
It goes back to like when you're kids in the playground. It's like, I'm taller than you are, and then when you're like old, it's like, I'm older than you are.
Yeah. I still do that. I still see somebody short, and I'm like, hey, I'm taller than you. And then, you know, but I tell Ginger that every time I see her.
Yeah, everyone likes to tell me that they're taller than me. Like they're Captain Obvious.
Oh, Lord.
Notice that I can look up everybody's nose right now, so I can really booger check everyone right now.
That's why I do this most of the time.
Because that's not even weirder.
Anybody have any final thoughts on these these three episodes, basically?
You can't forget, this is also like the very last thing in this episode. He sees Nobu again.
Yep.
Yes.
Like they wheel out the mysterious object from the farm, and he's like, "Holy crap, you're dead!" And Nobu's like, "Yeah, that's not really a thing."
Yeah.
Wait, is this the episode where they go down to that cellar?
Yeah, the farm is the very last part.
That's a big thing. That's a big chunk that we missed there. Yeah. This is because we see this
bit with that weird casket.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
They were feeding like blood or something into it, or
draining
there were a whole bunch of people being drained of their blood for the casket, and Nobu sneaks it off after throwing a quick couple of kicks all over Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yes. You are but one man, Akuma-san. That's my Ginzilla Easter egg.
Wait, what's your Easter egg? Say it again.
You are but one man, Akuma-san. But it's going to be woman for me. All
right. Well, thank you guys for coming on, for doing this review.
And if
What's me?
anybody wants to check back in any of my old podcasts, check me out on higherlearningchannel.com. And if you want to check out my blog, it's meetginzilla.com.
And if you watch this, you've just seen every podcast I've been on. So, yeah.
The awkwardness,
Got some cherry
everybody's
pop going on.
yeah, everybody's just looking at the small screens rather than themselves on the big screen.
Well, I have these humongous screens here, and the camera's way over there, so yeah.
Everybody's webcam's placed differently. I think it's more weird to look at the actual camera, at the green light, talking to a green light.
Well,
Right?
particularly when you have notes, like I have right now, I have notes over here, I have IMDb pages over here, I have wikis over here, like I have everything up.
You have a whole setup. Me, it's just like a computer and a microphone. That's about it. and an iPhone.
Well, I didn't want to be the total noob that messed up the whole thing, so I was like, I'm gonna prepare.
He's like, I got my notes. I'm so fucking ready for this shit.
I'm ready. What now?
Should we be ready for the next one, Kenneth? Or you want to jump on for the next one?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Should we do what, like 10, 11, 12, and then do one solo review for the finale?
Yeah, let's do it like that. That way we kind of we can also go into like what our favorite parts, like favorite moments throughout the season.
Was, so,
Yeah.
So we could just recap everything. Awesome! I'm excited.
All right.
Two more.
2 more to go, people. Well, this has been your host, Corey, of course, a.k.a. K Fury, as most people call me when I'm cooking.
You ain't never cooked for me.
Well, I'm afraid to cook for you, actually.
And I gave you that name.
I know.
You fuck.
You gave me a lot of names, though. There's one name right there. You fuck.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna. All right. Yeah. I guess I don't know how to end this at all. I guess I'll just end this completely.
See you guys next time.
All right.
Yeah. See you guys next time. Apparently.